Even if the new Nokia 3.4 is probably one of the best ultra budget phones you can currently get, there are some things which aren't really the best with this phone, and in this video I will show you all of them. The first problem with this phone is actually the cameras of the phone, even though it has got 13 megapixel main camera and also 5 megapixel ultra wide camera and 2 megapixel macro camera. The cameras are very poor indeed if you don't really have a good light. Even in good lighting, the cameras really tend to suffer quite a bit, and the cameras on this phone are really far behind much more expensive phones, and you can really see and feel that. For example, the macro camera is completely pointless on this phone, and I'm not really using it as it's so bad. The ultra wide camera on this phone isn't really the best either, so I'm not really using that as well. The main camera on this phone also isn't really good. If you got a good lighting, the main camera can take some okay looking pictures, especially when you consider the price tag of this phone. However, in poor lighting the pictures really completely fall apart and you get really poor details in the photos of the pictures taken with the phone. And yeah, if you're looking for a phone which can take great pictures, the Nokia 3.4 isn't really that phone. If you're really trying to make a nice picture and you try a few times and you got a good lighting, then yeah, you can take okay looking pictures. However, don't expect more than that. The next bad thing about this phone is probably the camera app on this phone. It's often very slow to load and you get a bit of shutter lag on this phone, and yeah, let's see, it takes quite some time to open. Also, you often get errors thrown out on this camera, and for me it sometimes keeps crashing. Taking normal photo, most of the times it works okay, but as you see, if I try to switch to video right now, it will probably crash on me. See, yeah, camera keeps stopping. And same for night sight. It just randomly crashes like this. Most of the time it runs perfectly, and after you start the phone, the camera apps works again. Also, the front-facing camera on this phone also isn't really the best. It also lacks a dynamic range, and when taking pictures in skylight, the skylight gets completely blown out and you don't really get the best face details in the image. And again, as you see, this camera app keeps crashing on me and I'm not sure why. Again, yeah, not the best experience with the camera on this phone. So overall, if you're looking for a great phone which has got great camera, then yeah, look probably somewhere else. This phone doesn't really have the best camera, and also the camera app isn't that good. Also, the video quality of the phone isn't the best. Again, I would say the still image quality is better than the video quality on the phone. The next bad thing about the Nokia 3.4 has to be the fingerprint reader. The fingerprint reader itself is completely fine and it reads fingerprint very fast and unlocks the phone fine. However, there is actually a feature that you can swipe down notifications like this, so they come down by swiping this fingerprint reader. However, I find that this fingerprint reader is way too responsive, I would say. So if you are accidentally touching it even a bit, it swipes down these notifications. And yeah, it gets really annoying when you're playing any game or watching video. If you're holding a phone or changing your hands a bit, even if you touch this fingerprint reader a bit, it thinks that it should pull up the notification bar. And yeah, it really disturbs you. And it's not really good experience, this feature, and Nokia really should improve this feature. as it's really doing more bad than good. And the very first time I got this phone, I actually thought that the phone is faulty, as the notification bar kept popping up, and I wasn't really aware that I was simply touching this fingerprint reader. Also, in comments below, I saw some people also thinking their phone was faulty, as this notification thing keeps popping up and disturbing you. If you got this problem, you can actually turn this off. Simply go to your settings, scroll all the way down where it says system, then click on gestures and swipe fingerprint and simply turn it off. So when you accidentally touch it in any way, even if you don't really want these notifications to swipe down, you won't really get them, and that's problem fixed. Then if you're considering getting a version which has got 3 GB of RAM and 32 GB of storage, just like I got, then I would really suggest to go for the 4 GB RAM version, which also has got 64 GB internal storage. Even though you can expand the storage, I find the internal storage on this phone to be mostly taken up by the system apps. As you see, I have only got 5.8 GB of storage left, and I have only installed a few games, only Call of Duty and Subway Surfers, and that's about it. And as you see, only got 6 GB of left, and that's quite bad. Even if you can install additional memory card on this phone, I would really suggest to go for the 64 GB version, as also it has got more RAM, as often I find that 3 GB of RAM on this phone is barely enough, and some apps stutter about on this phone. So if you got an opportunity to purchase the 4 GB of RAM and 64 GB of RAM version, and it only costs a bit more, I would really suggest to go for that one, as this 32 GB version I find lacks a bit. The next problem isn't really a huge issue, however it's still a problem. This phone has got only one speaker here, and when you are covering it, for example when you are gaming or when you place it on pocket and you cover the speaker, the sound really gets muffled. So if you like to listen to music on loudspeakers, and if you somehow cover the speaker, the sound gets really bad. Let's see. See, the generally sound of this phone is very good. However, again, if you accidentally cover it like this, as you see, it completely gets muffled and doesn't really sound loud at all. Again, not a huge issue, however, again, yeah, I really wish they had a better design on the speaker, or had dual speakers. It's not really a huge issue, however, I would really have preferred that the phone had got 2 speakers instead of 1. However, price point wise, for £99 in UK, I don't really think you can fault this phone for this one, but still it would be nice if it had the dual speakers here. The next problem probably isn't that huge of a problem. However, when you're viewing this phone online, then it will say that it has got Android 11. When you get a box, it says that it's Android 11 ready, so that's quite fishy there. And when you turn on the phone, you realize that it actually runs Android 10, and from what I could see, Android 11 will actually only be released some few months later for this phone. So it's actually a bit cheeky to advertise it that it comes with Android 11 when it doesn't really come with Android 11. I'm sure that Android 11 will actually be released for this phone pretty soon. However, still, if you are expecting to get Android 11 now on this phone, you'll be disappointed, as it doesn't have Android 11. And the last problem for this phone actually is FM radio. The FM radio itself is fairly good. However, you can't really listen to the radio unless you plug in headphones for this phone to use them as antenna. For some phones you can actually do this, however I find odd that you can't really do that on this phone. And yeah, I really don't like that on this phone. However, again, if you're not really listening to FM radio or listening to online radio or have headphones with you all the time, then it's not really a huge problem. Overall, if you're looking for excellent build quality phone which has got fairly decent specs, has got amazing design and also an excellent build quality, and yeah, the design of the phone is really incredible, and you get so many features on this phone which you only often get on high-end flagship phones. So yeah, if you're looking a phone which is really great and costs so little, then I don't really think you can get a better phone than the Nokia 3.4. I really wish the cameras on this phone were better, and as really apart from the cameras, the other faults weren't really that huge for this phone, and yeah, if they could place better cameras on this phone, it would be a killer phone indeed. But then again, you must remember that this phone can be had for £99 in UK, and that makes this phone probably the cheapest phone you can even purchase. And considering that otherwise, apart from the cameras, this phone is incredibly good, yeah, I don't really think you get better phones than this one. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit the like button. Also, if you want to see more videos about the Nokia 3.4 or other Nokia phones, then make sure to subscribe, as I will be releasing them very soon. See you!